What's going on, guys? It's Jared, and today is the day the ban list came out. There was changes all throughout the board to almost every deck, and I'm going to be talking about the changes. I know what the changes are already. This is not a reaction video. I do not like those videos. They're just pretty much money grabs for your entertainment. I don't like them personally. I'd rather do a discussion where you guys can learn something about my thought process by breaking down every single card that was hit on this list. So yeah, I want you guys to learn something from this. That's my goal, and get some theories going about what can that be the best meta deck, what you don't need to play anymore in certain decks, what decks you don't have to worry about, what decks could come back from Uprising, what new decks could possibly come out and change things. There's a lot of stuff to talk about and only so much time. So yeah, I wanted to get this video out as soon as possible to you guys. So first things first, I'm going to go through the ban cards and the limited cards, the semi-limited cards and the limited cards, and as I go through each card, I'm going to talk about what the impact is, why it was hit, why it's coming back, etc., what it could be good in still, and stuff like that. So yeah, we're going to jump right into it. Alright, so the first thing that got banned was Guardragon Aggro Pain. I think we all know we are very sick and tired of the Guardragon cards. It was way too splashable since the hit on the two baby dragons, Wyvern Burster and Collapse Servant. It got a little frustrating to deal with because I went to a regional myself like months ago, and probably over 50% of the decks I played Guardragons in them, and it was so frustrating just to keep seeing the same splashable engine over and over and over again. And even now, recently, I play against Orcust, but it's most of it's either Lunalight Orcust or Cyber Dragon Orcust or Pure Orcust. It's not like, oh, I just play Crusadia, put Guardragons in it, play Pendulum, put Guardragons in it, play, etc. It's just it was too splashable, and I hated it. So I'm very happy Aggro Pain got hit. It leaves, how can I word it? I think this hit leaves the Guardragons themselves at a very still splashable but build into things. And what I mean by that is now you still have Pitsy and LP, so LP still technically you resolve it, you get a Rhoda for any Dark Dragon guaranteed, because you still have Brotor, that stuff wasn't hit. It's like a little utility engine. They just hit the late negation part. So worst comes to worst, your Pitsy and LP can still go Guy, get Guy, link off, and then get both their triggers off to get free monsters, and then after you use both of them, you still make Hieratic Seal. So the two guys still will make an interruption, but it's what you do with the monsters that you summon that will change pretty much, because you're not going to have Aggro Pain just to go in the Hot Red or go into the Gemini Fusion to do the FTK combo. It's very different platforms, or even Pendulum going into Adai's Vortex Dragon. So it's very different, I feel like. So, I think that the Guardragons are at a very balanced place, but can I see them being abused for something else? Absolutely. Still, I still think the Crusadia deck's really good. You still have Hieratic Seal. You can still do plenty of other things. Red Eyes is still a really good card. Red Eyes Black Metal Dragon. It's just free cards. So yeah, that's my thoughts on Aggro Pain. I don't think it's last we're going to see the Guardragons. They're going to be around still, but it was definitely a good hit on their part. Other ban card, Nightmare Mermaid. Nightmare Mermaid, the one everybody kept saying the hit. It kind of takes the deck to very splashable. What it does, it takes the two monsters equals Orcust combo out of the equation. Now, a lot of people are saying that makes Orcust dead. That's not true. I highly doubt the deck is dead. They are still around. Dingersu is still a crazy card with Babel and Galatea and Wongersu and the Bomber Dragon combos, and Crescendo is still an obnoxious card. All the cards are still there. They just lose the consistency starters. And what I mean by that, they don't lose their end game, they lose their consistency starters. So they can still get there, it's just they need to go in a different route to get there. So you could see possibly Orcust decks playing more dangers, maybe even trade-ins, because if I remember right, Nightmare is a level 8, and so is World Wand. So there's synergies there where you can turbo through your deck still. Scrap Recycler the level 4 1700 attack. I forget what it's called. I think it's Driver. Summons from deck. The Mixed Grapper Cycle, or the 1-card combo, and Armageddon Knight and Dark Refer, they still do their thing. That's not stopping anything. You can still end on a decent board. It's not great. It's not as good as it was. It's not as easy it was to get to, but it's still there. It's so Orcust isn't gone. I'd be prepared for it. If there's any upcoming events, I'm not sure. I haven't looked into it very much. But yeah, do not count Orcust out. Like I said, I think personally, if I was to play Orcust, which I'm not, but I might look into it now. Personally, if it's less popular, I like playing those kinds of decks. Maybe I'd play like a trade-in, a lore version. You can see your cards a lot faster, which I like. Even if you go like Danger, Normal Summon, Driver, I'm pretty sure there's probably some kind of combo there that seems really good to me. Like there's a lot of good ways to go about Orcust, I think, right now, and it's definitely not the end of it. So be prepared. Don't just sell off your Dingrissus. That's my advice. It's still a crazy card. Yeah, that's pretty much my thoughts on the Nightmare Mermaid hit. I mean, just be ready for Orcust to still be around. So that was all that was banned. They kept this list really short, which I'm happy about. The only limited card was Widowmaker. I think this is the nail in the coffin for the pure Sky Striker deck, because you cannot ending on multiple real interruptions anymore. Like the worst you can end on is like Shark Cannon, Widowmaker, and Eagle Booster. That's not a lot. I mean, you can stall with Eagle Booster a lot, which is it gets annoying, but you kind of lose your win condition. In a previous video, I said that the win condition of Sky Striker is like poke, 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 and then eventually you go like Widowmaker, Widowmaker, take your guy, make a big push. That's like a big win condition for them, and they kind of just lost that, and that's really beat. You can't come back from that, I don't think. But there's a big but with this hit, and I think Sky Striker is now more, if it wasn't already, more of an engine. So like you're not gonna you'll still possibly see engage for draw a card, and then search whatever, draw a card, and then go like Kagari, engage, draw a card, search whatever. But I think that is going to go into a different deck. It will not be pure Sky Striker, because it's still Pot of Greed. You're still Pot of Greeding in that scenario where they did the engage extra card BS, so I really highly doubt that the Sky Striker cards themselves are going to be out of the meta, but I think the pure Sky Striker deck is going to be out of the meta, at least the competitive scene. People might mess around with it. I know they got a new card announced, but I don't see the deck being together by itself anymore. It needs help. It's probably the best way I can put it. It'll be splashed into things. Moving on from the limited with Widowmaker is going to be the semi-limited list, which was only Dark Arm Dragon. Now, I have been playing this game for so long, and Dark Arm Dragon was such a powerhouse back in the day. He was the guy. Dark Arm Dragon Dad was amazing, and now you look at him, he's like, wow, this card is weak. He's slow. He's weak, and it's just not. It could have went to 3. I guess they're just really scared of Dad Return, Teledad. People always say Teledad, but Dad Return was I think it was the real problem. That was huge issues. Teledad was also huge issues, but I think Dad Return was just my opinion. But yeah, it's not anything crazy. You can get a little sacky, but that's all it is. There's better. Like Levianair is an insane card. That's a good chaos monster. BLS is at 3. I mean, I personally think BLS is better than Dark Arm Dragon. That's just my opinion, and that's at 3. So I think that could have went to 3 with no issues, but I'm not the one making the ban list. There's not really much to say about Dark Arm Dragon. I don't think it'll see play. This isn't a big change. So, I'm just gonna move straight to the Unlimited. If you comment if you want me to talk more about that, but I don't see it. Unlimited. The first card I want to talk about. Super Rejuvenation. I played during Dragon Rulers when they first came out. It was the first thing I thought of when I saw it, and you kind of get the Vietnam flashbacks when you think back to that time, because you're like, Super Rejuve, draw draw another Super Rejuve, fall, draw 4, end your turn, you end with like a play for next turn, a Maxi, and like Effect Veiler, and you're like, it's kind of game. You're not out in that, and you discard dragons to the graveyard so you can play anyway. Like it's crazy how good that was. But you know, we're in 2019. The cards, I'm not gonna say it's not overpowered in my opinion. That card is ridiculous, I think, and it came off from what I believe is the Dragon Maid archetype is what uses it. If I remember right, they tribute themselves off to summon other ones. I don't think that deck's good. I think it's very, you know, fan servicey, but it's not competitive. I like talking about competitive things. But I do think that there is definitely a dragon deck somewhere in the world that is going to abuse the set 3. This is a card that should never have not gone from 0 to 3. That jump, only very few cards make that jump, or from 3 to ban, 0 to 3. Like those cards, they're the most dangerous, and I think this is a mistake. That is a mistake. Super Rejuve to 3 should not have happened in my opinion. There's gonna be some type of degeneracy, and I fear for it. Someone's gonna figure it out. I'm just gonna spitball some ideas. When I first saw it, like a lot of people forgot that when Tempest came back, that the baby dragons were all at 3 still. So like you can still go like pitch dragon and guy for a Tempest and then keep going. You can still play like, I don't know, a danger monster, hit a dragon, that counts for Super Rejuve. You can play Dragon Ravine, discard a dragon, that counts for Super Rejuve. So if you draw, say, I don't know, like Baby Dragon and a Dragon Ravine, your Super Rejuve is better than Pot of Greed in the end phase. And if you throw in any number of the plethora of hand traps that we have access to, as opposed to what we did have in Dragon Ruler format, your hand itself could possibly have 4 to 5 negates, not including your field, which is pretty ridiculous in my opinion. But there's probably, you know, there's gonna be a consistency gap in that deck, but I feel like there's something there, or something that can abuse Super Rejuvenation at fully potential. Obviously, Dragon Draw Exodia is still a thing, and this was probably the most annoying card in that deck because you could just lose in the end phase, and they draw like 6 cards off each Super Rejuve. It's a little annoying. So, I mean, I'm not happy to see it back, but, you know, I get they're trying to support the new archetype. I just don't think it was the right move for degeneracy deck reasons. Construct back to 3. I don't even think this is that relevant as far as I can remember. You know, I saw the list when I was at work, and then I was like looking at the cards. You know, obviously Super Rejuve hit me really big. The other cards, you know, I get they're for the meta, and Construct I saw, and I'm like, this could have been at 3 when it got eroded. It's not that big of a deal, I think. You know, with Master Rule 4, and plus the errata, you know, that's a big hit to Shaddoll, especially the errata part, because you can't go Trick Clown and the link off into more things. You kind of just send something to be used for like next turn, like later, which is like, it doesn't do anything. You know, it makes Shaddoll Fusion a lot worse making the light. So I don't think it does anything. I mean, we're getting a Shaddoll Structure deck in the future, so it's probably, I think it's a good setup for possibly new cards coming out for Shaddoll, you know? But it's not going to be meta defining. This is not relevant in any way, shape, or form in the competitive meta in my eyes. Yeah, it's just my thoughts. I mean, Wind is a hell of a card, so maybe there's something you can do with that. When, like, you can get like Construct, Core, like El Shaddoll Fusion loops to make Windows constantly and get back like Core and El Shaddoll, like recycle and reuse, recycle, but like, you know what I mean? It's I'm not gonna say nothing's there, but it's not gonna be meta defining. CED, Chaos Emperor Dragon. I believe this is a 2 before. This is, again, not gonna be relevant to meta, I feel like, but there is a big thing with this card, and it's something that I never liked in the game, but, you know, and when there's a card like it, it gets hit, and that's any card that touches the hand, any card that will discard something from the hand. Those seem to be very overpowered in this game, I think. And, you know, the card says discard your entire opponents. Like, just send all cards from the hand and field to the graveyard. You can't activate anything the turn you do it. So that's like a really good restriction for that card. I feel like that's a lot. That's a big restriction, and I'm happy it's there. You know, I'm not really for Eratas, but you know, for like, this was a different card, and they made this new version into a different card. I'm happy that restriction's there because it keeps it. I don't want to say balanced because I think that's an unbalanced effect, but it keeps it where, you know, it's really hard to do, and you know, if you use it and you get like Effector or Impermanence or say Widow Anchored, you still can't activate the rest of the turn, because the restriction's still there, as far as if I remember right, ruling wise. So yeah, I don't think CED is useless. You can probably play it in something. It's a big threat. It will clear the board, but I don't think it's going to be competitive right now, unless, you know, someone figures something out where they can send cards from their hand to the graveyard turn 1 and get a light and dark, and then drop it and send your opponent's hand to the graveyard, which I believe there is inherent cards that do that, so they don't activate, so you can use CED in the same turn, but I can't think of any at the moment. I believe they exist. Like I said, I've been playing this game for a long time. I think they're there, but I don't think it's going to be consistent in any way, shape, or form, so you don't have to worry about it. But definitely a good card. At worst, it's a 3,000 beat stick. And it's a dragon for, you know, guard dragon things, for what that's worth. You know, synergy. Next up on the Unlimited was Malicious and Stratos. I'm going to do these two together because they are literally for the same deck. There is not going to be a difference. They are obviously pushing the Evil Hero cards that just came out. The deck was, I would say, good. I'm not going to say, you know, meta-defining. It was definitely good. You know, I'm not going to say S tier, tier 0. Like, there's tier 1, tier 2. I put it at tier 2 with, you know, Orcust and, you know, Striker and Thunder and all that stuff in tier 1. And I put that at tier 2. And it's really close. Like, that deck is really strong with the Evil Heroes. Like, does a lot of cool things. And it's harder to stop, but Nibiru was the killer of that deck. You just lost and you got Nibiru'd. So, you know, Malicious going to 3. It's like an extra extender, which is, you know, it seemed like, you know, like, well, what's one more monster? But that one more monster, it's an extra tribute for Plasma. It's an extra search for X-Hero Cross Crusader. It's an extra card for Mash Change. You know, it's a lot of variables that go into that card. It's really, really good. I guess now it's something you can draw to discard off Forest. You know, there's a lot of synergy there, and you know, it's not to be underestimated. Stratos, I almost don't like. I don't want to say it's not going to be played at 3 because I think it will, but it's not that great because there's a lot of normal summons in the deck already, and I feel like you'd rather play 2 Stratos, 2 Solid Soldier, 3 E-Call, and a Rhoda, rather than 3 Stratos, we'll say 1 Solid Soldier, 3 E-Call, and a Rhoda. Like, I'd rather, like, that 2-2 ratio I feel like was really, really good, and I wouldn't mess with it, because then you're playing a lot of normal summons. You're playing Shadow Mist, you're playing the Stratoses, you're playing the Solid Soldiers, you're playing the Vions. You know, it's a lot of stuff you don't want to draw in multiples of, because it'll just brick your hand completely, you know. So I really don't think Stratos is going to be played at 3, but that's just my opinion. But, you know, from the Malicious going to 3, I think that was the biggest, you know, you look at it like, whoa, that's, you know, that just went to 2. Like, that's, they usually barely, they don't do that. They don't put someone to hit it and then bring it back pretty quick. Like, that's rare for Konami to do that. So, you know, I think Heroes is definitely something you should look out for, because, you know, when they're going and on Plasma and a Pop, you know, if you're playing, like, let's say, you know, Thunder Dragon, that's really hard to out, because Plasma is a skill drain. A Pop can pop anything bigger you summon, and usually they end on Honest Neos in hand, so you can't just beat over the Plasma anyway, so you're going to get skill drained. That sucks. You're not going to out that. That's really hard to beat. You know, you got to find something. Like, you can't just let it walk on you, pretty much, because Nibiru, I know I recommend playing Nibiru, Dark Warrior No More, stuff like that. But yeah, that's my thoughts on Heroes. You know, keep it. It's definitely good. Keep an eye out for it. Aether, the Heavenly Monarch. I don't have a lot to say about this. It's good. It's a great card. It gets the whole engine going. You resolve it. But the card that you need the most is Pantheism, and that's still at 1. It does not solve the problems of Monarch. It's still inconsistent. You just have to get the 2 tribute summons. When you do that, and you resolve Aether and or Erebus, you're going to get your engine going regardless. That's pretty much how I see Monarch. If you get stopped, you kind of lose. So you should. I'm not gonna say Monarch's bad. There's a lot of strong, really strong cards. Erebus is really strong. Aether's clearly really strong. They get a lot of advantage when you resolve them. Erupt, really strong if you play Erupt. Extra deck Monarchs. Prime Monarch is still an insane trap card in the graveyard. It's a lot of. The amount of advantage that card gives you is, I feel like it's vastly underestimated. Really strong. Pantheism, obviously, because you send it and you can get it back with the white level 1, I forget their names. But the Heavenly Squire, and then you get it back, and you get more advantage, do it again. It's a lot of advantage while you're chipping away your opponent's stuff, and it's there. There's definitely something there, but I think it really needs the Pantheism to get where it needs to go. So yeah, I'm not gonna say look out for it. I don't think it's gonna be that much better. I don't think you're gonna see it at competitive events, but definitely a fun deck. More consistent, sure. Zector Dragonfly. It's Dragonfly. Insectors are really based on the normal summon. You kind of just negate the first one, and they just lose. And this is coming from somebody who loved the deck when it came out in the triangle format. I was the Insector player, but it's just too slow right now. They need an insect card that summons something from deck and doesn't eat your normal summon, like a spell or like a forest type of guy, like a Vision Hero Forest. They need something like that. That would really help the deck, but it doesn't have that. It's still based on your normal summon. It's too hard to work with, even with 3 Dragonfly. If it resolves, obviously it's crazy what you can do with Dragonfly, Excalibur, and Hornet. That's a lot. That's a big combo. But with it, I don't like playing decks that lose to Effect Veiler or Impermanence. They suck. Even a Ghost Ogre, literally every hand trap just beats this deck, which is terrible. So it just needs something else. Next is Shirt, Strategist of Nekroz. This is kind of the same thing I would say with Monarch, where you get 3 of this really strong card back, but it needs the other card. It's missing the good, the really strong card, which is Unicorn. Shirt's an amazing card, don't get me wrong, but you need Unicorn to keep recycling later, to keep the consistency up early, so you can do the Kaleidoscope Unicorn play, because it's still the same gameplay. You're still going to go Unicorn on turn 1, stun them for a turn, and try to do a Trish OTK combo turn 2, and if you get hit by something stupid, you just kind of lose, and it's one of those things that sucks. So I'm going to put that in the same thing with Monarch, where it's good, it's going to be fun to play, don't get me wrong, have fun with it. I see it doing well. Nekroz, I think it's better than Monarch personally right now, but take it with a grain of salt. It's a good deck. You might see it because incantations are still really strong. Shirt's really strong. Brio's really strong. Trish is really strong. All the cards are really good, but it's it's just getting it to run like a well-oiled machine. Just you get hit by one thing, in that one certain spot, and one of the cards are just too strong to deal with right now. Colossus is still at 3, that's like Nekroz's bane of doom. You just lose unless you have Unicorn. So keep that in mind. Last card on the unlimited list, and to finish the video, is going to be Royal Tribute. I don't remember what this was at before, if it was at 1 or 2 before it went to 3, but this is one of those cards where it's really overpowered, and I don't think it should be at 3. It offers really degenerate gameplay of, Necro Valley. Set cards, Demise, normal summon, set guy, activate Royal Tribute. And it's like, oh, that's good. That's game. If you discard more than 2 cards, it's worth it. It's a big hit. It's really obnoxious, and because you have Necro Valley out, none of the effects in the graveyard matter. So it's not like if you hit the Orcus deck and you hit drivers and skeletons and nightmares and stuff like that, it's gonna do something. You're still losing. You just lost all of it for no reason. Dangers, you might get I don't know, a pop or something, or Jackal might summon a guy, but Snake's not coming out of the graveyard, Chupacabra's not gonna trigger, stuff like that. It really is I think it's gonna be a deck, and I hate to see it because it's annoying. I don't like the Royal Tribute Gravekeeper deck. The card it's one of those degenerate cards that I am not happy to see go to 3. The best way I could describe it, it's one of those you activate it going first, you lose on the die roll, and you're just, it's frustrating. It's one of those cards that makes you want to be like, why am I even playing this game when stuff like this is allowed? It's unhealthy gameplay in my opinion, but it exists. It's at 3, so people are gonna play it. So again, get ready for it. People are gonna try it out at your locals. Keep an eye out. If it happens, it sucks. There's nothing really I can tell you. Just be ready as much as you possibly can for that combo, because it's pretty hard to beat. But yeah, that's gonna be it for everything. That was everything that changed on the list. For the meta, like meta-wise, I don't know what the meta is gonna be. I think Orcust is gonna be more streamlined Orcust. You're not gonna see all these, like, you're gonna see Window Light Orcust probably die out. Like, the Azathoth things kind of doesn't work anymore because you need Mermaid to get rid of it. Like everything else, it's the same thing. Sky Striker, you're not going to see that anymore. Thunder Dragon, you're probably going to see a lot of. It was not touched. It's going to be there. It's a good deck. It was good before the list, so it's going to be good after the list. Nothing crazy came off the list, except for, I would say, the best thing is where the Malicious Stratos and Super Rejuve cards are, and Royal Tribute, and nothing else is going to impact the meta that much. So, still be ready for Orcust, still be ready for Thunder. I would get ready for don't just say, oh, like these decks got hit, so get rid of hand traps out of your deck. At least side them. Hand traps are always good since they've been released. As the effects got better, since there was probably a time, I think Effect Veiler, they were always played in some way, shape, or form. Be ready for anything, It's an open meta. I don't know what I'm going to try yet. I have a Thunder deck made, a pure Thunder deck, so, I could just stick with that and be boring, but that's no fun for you guys. It's really not. So, I want to try something new. I don't have Super Rejuves, I don't have a Dragon deck, so I can't, expand more on that idea. I don't know what I'm going to make. I'm going to surprise you guys with a profile, whatever it might be. Maybe, I don't know. Let me know what you guys want to see. I'm curious. Out of all the ideas I just said, I'm curious of what deck you might want to see the most. I know you guys like the Draco deck. You like my insight on the Draco deck. That deck's, I also still have, it's together. Everything's the same build, nothing's changed. That deck's still really strong. Watch out for that. Back row decks in general, they're still around. Nothing's going to change about that. So be ready for that. Now you just have the Royal Tribute Gravekeeper deck that's going to be around. I would probably guarantee that's going to be around. So yeah, that's going to be my opinions on the meta. It's kind of just be ready for combo decks, be ready for back row decks. You keep it, in the beginning of a meta, you want to keep it very generalized. You don't want to play cards that are streamlined for a deck, because if they don't do enough, you want general cards. You want Twin Twisters, you want Pancratops, you want Ashes, Ogres, Effect Veiler, Impermanence, stuff like that, Nibiru, because they're still really, really strong, they're still really generic, It's like I play X generic deck, that goes in. I play X generic deck, that goes in. It still works. But yep, that's going to be my opinions on that. That's going to probably be the end of the video. So I hope you guys enjoyed this discussion. It's been going on for 30 minutes. So if you guys made it to the end of the video, thank you so much for caring about my opinion on this. Feel free to comment about any other opinions, other decks you might see, what else you want me to try, what else you're going to try, my opinion on decks, advice on decks, because my mind goes very wide. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. I appreciate you very much, and I will see you next time.